Hi everybody, this is Property with Leonard and welcome to another episode. Now on this channel we discuss property, finance and investments. Now please note that none of my videos constitutes as financial advice, but if you're looking for financial advice, please speak to an accredited and registered financial advisor. South Africa's national building regulations require that any building or structural changes needs to receive planning approval from the relevant city council before the renovations can begin. But the question is, are there some renovations that homeowners, people like me and you, can do without going through the somewhat tedious process of acquiring that approval? And that's what I will be sharing with you in this episode. I will share with you 3 value-added renovations that don't really require any planning approval. Now there are some minor works that do need plans to be submitted and approved, even though they may be on private land and may not be a major build. And here I am referring to things like swimming pools and Wendy houses, garden sheds, ones bigger than 3 square meters, carports, removal of a wall that may change the building structure, and also building walls. These are minor works that do need plans to be submitted and approved. But when it comes to minor works that don't need building plan approval, these are the ones that can go ahead without receiving any planning approvals, as long as the additions is small enough or the changes do not affect any of the external or structural walls. Although you do not need a professional to draw up plans for building approval, when it comes to these minor building works, you usually do still need to get permission from your relevant local municipal department. I would recommend that you check the requirements of the local bylaws before undertaking any kind of alterations. So my advice to you is pay them a visit and have a chat with someone in either the building or the planning or any other relevant department. Some areas, and mostly residential estates, they have aesthetic committees enforcing specific guidelines concerning things like Wendy houses. And I mean, when it comes to that, the distance these can be from the stand or earth, for example. That's why you should notify your body corporate if you live in a residential estate. If you plan on doing some alterations or in an apartment or townhouses, you should make sure that you do that. Illegal building work is a big problem and can cause major long-term problems for homeowners. For example, when it comes to insurance and selling the property, fire hazards and so forth. It's always better to be safe than sorry. It's also very important to note that if your home or your property is older than 60 years or has any historical value or importance, you will need a permit from the South African Heritage Resource Agency for any external or even internal changes or alterations. You need to take note of that. And if you suspect your property to be in that sort of age range, consult your relevant local municipal department and they should be able to assist you in that regard. Because some of these renovations that don't require building approval can be particularly helpful if you are in a hurry to sell. Acquiring the relevant planning approval can take several months, and we're just coming out of this lockdown and COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, there are major backlogs when it comes to planning approvals, so just keep that in mind. So the first one that I would like to discuss with you is adding small structures, small outdoor structures. It can create a certain amount of buyer's appeal and do not require council's approval. For example, tool sheds under 10 square meters, children's playhouses under 5 square meters, greenhouses under 15 square meters, and pergolas. They all constitute as minor building work and offer a great value add to any property. And even gates for cars, unless partly on the pavement or the city's land. And bear in mind that although you do not need approval, you will still need permission for all of these, because most municipalities have a form for minor building work that you can fill out and submit. The municipality will usually want to know the type of structure and its intended function and where on the earth the structure will be located. And secondly, changing internal features. Now, there are several clever ways to create the feeling of additional space other than to add on rooms or extend existing walls, as long as they do not affect the structural safety of the building. Now, internal walls can be knocked down without planning approval to create an open plan layout that will completely change the look and the feel of a home. However, you need to be very sure it isn't a load-bearing wall before you undertake these types of renovations. My advice is it's always best to just confirm what the requirements are, from your local authorities for these types of alterations. Just be safe, rather safe than sorry. And another one is a replacement of windows or doors to further create that illusion of additional space, provided that the existing frames aren't load-bearing and that the openings aren't enlarged, or that any openings needed for fire escapes aren't removed. Windows also need to conform to the energy efficiency regulations these days, so just bear that in mind as well. You can also install new appliances or new fittings, for example installing a new toilet, bath or geyser, or changing the position of these, provided that the work does not include new or extended drainage or plumbing. And thirdly, when it comes to the roof, updating the roof tiles, you are allowed to replace the roof without requiring planning approval, as long as they make use of similar materials to what was used before. Simply changing the color of the roof tiles can do wonders for updating the look of a home. All of these projects are also great if you're just looking for easy ways to fall in love with your property all over again. It goes without saying that these types of projects are a great way to keep life exciting, as long as you find reliable contractors who can do the work without causing any unnecessary stress. That's the last thing you want. And as I always advise in some of my previous videos as well, be careful that you don't overcapitalize. Specifically, if you plan on selling in the near future, contact me if you need evaluation or some additional advice and guidance in this regard. I will leave my details, my contact details in the description below. And thank you so much once again for joining me on today's episode. I sincerely hope that this episode was of value to you, and if it was, can I kindly ask you, if you haven't, to please subscribe to my channel, to like this video and to share it. And as you know, I always look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And thank you so much everybody for your continued support. This channel is really growing. I'm so grateful for that, and thank you for being part of the growth and of the journey of this channel. Subscribing to things. Firstly, it is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a cent. And secondly, it is really easy. You can just click that subscriber button in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. And please remember to hit the all notifications, and that way you will be notified and you won't miss out whenever I upload new videos. Thank you so much everybody. I see you in the next episode. Stay blessed.